What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode number 19 today of Career Mode. We are back ready to show you more games as we continue our unbeaten start to the season. 9 games in this Premier League campaign. As you can see, the table currently looking like it is. We are solely out in front in this second season here with Brighton. And of course, things are going very well indeed. If you have been enjoying the series, I appreciate all the comments, the likes, and all that sort of stuff that you guys have been leaving. I have taken a look at a few of them and replied to a couple of them over the past couple of days as well. It really does make my day to be able to see a comment that comes in that's like makes you guys enjoy this series. Because at the end of the day, that's what I'm here to do. Give you guys content that you guys enjoy and effectively can sit back and relax for the next 15-20 minutes of and enjoy to watch. So first up, we had a test against Newcastle. They visited the Amex in order to try and put a stop to the steam train that was beginning to find its way in the Premier League. Of course, it's Brighton side unbeaten in 9, and we're looking unbeatable in terms of how many goals we could score. We were scoring for fun at this stage, and it just so happens that when you are scoring for fun and things are going your way, you have unlikely scorers just popping up left, right and centre. This today was the turn of Kehrer. Our centre-back, who joined from PSG, was yet to score in Brighton colours, but he got the opening goal here at the Amex to give us a 1-0 lead. From a corner, the ball was put in. It eventually got cleared to the edge of the area, and he was on hand to smash it in with his left foot to the bottom corner and make the score Brighton 1, Newcastle 0. Like I said, when you're playing this well, when you're having this sort of performance, and you're scoring as many goals as we are, you just seem to have goals popping up left, right and centre from people that you just would not expect. And especially considering the fact that that one was shot rather than headed from Kehrer, I did not expect to see that. Mario, on the other hand, he's banging him in for fun. But this occasion, he tried it. He's in confidence, of course. He's going to try and chip the keeper from there. Probably should have played it. Maybe tried to cross it back in. But I saw the keeper off his line and was like, go for it, Mario. Unfortunately, he didn't actually get his strike on target. If he had have done, it would have been 2-0 and we'd have been cruising to these 3 points. Ultimately, though, we were on top and pretty much dominating the game here as Vinicius Jr. with the latest of the chances. Cut back on his right, had his curling effort deflected onto the post and out for a corner, which eventually led to a delivery into towards the front post. You can see Ali Reza. We're always going to put it into that same area. Mario got up well, but it was straight into the hands of Carl Darlow in Newcastle's goal. So we were battering them at home here and really could have been going into 3-0 up at the break. But it was only a 1-0 scoreline. Whenever it's the 1-0 scoreline, it's always pretty fickle. But we came back out second half and our dominance continued. Look at this, right? Comes from a Newcastle attack. We played 3 passes. Phil Foden over the top towards Super Mario. He's running through. He finesses it into the top corner and makes it 2-0. That was 3 passes that took us. This is what I'm talking about. The fast, the flow, everything is just playing so well with this Brighton side that if you're coming to watch them play, you're expecting something to happen. It's not tiki-taka. It's not, 5, 6, 7 passes and then we hit a ball through. No, it's 1 pass, 2 passes, and then the ball is either put into the box or it's put in the back of the net. There are occasions when we have been able to make a move where we've done 15, 16 passes, but normally it's literally 1 pass to get us forward, 2nd pass to maybe open up the angle, 3rd pass play it through, then the shot comes in. That's exactly what happened there. So good counter-attacking move to put us 2-0 in front. And like I mentioned, we were all over them, looking for a third here. Phil Foden towards Rabiot. His shot was well saved again by Darlow, who on another day, right, would have kept a clean sheet. But today was not that day because Newcastle couldn't contain us. And they weren't the only side that will be the case of. If you're looking at this as a journalist, if you're looking at this as a fan, you're thinking to yourself, Brighton look like champions-elect at this point. But I will say this, it is ultimate difficulty. Anything is possible. I know we defended very well there against Newcastle, only giving them 1 shot, which they didn't take. But at the same time, we're playing this well because we don't have the pressure. We're under no pressure whatsoever. I've been taking this game by game, like we did last season when we finished second, game by game, just seeing what happens, right? But when we get to sort of the 20th, 22nd game mark, that's when it's going to sink in. That's when it's going to hit home that we are top of the table, If we're still unbeaten at that stage, I highly doubt that we will go the entire season unbeaten. I have this thing where I used to try and go unbeaten as much as I possibly could in a season. But then what happens is when I start getting to the later stages, I just don't keep my performance levels there. And that becomes a problem. So I guarantee you guys right now, we're 10 games unbeaten after beating Newcastle 2-0, as I show you a highlight there against Nottingham Forest in a simmed cup game. I guarantee you at the 22nd game mark, we will not be unbeaten. That's my prediction. And things will be very, very difficult, especially when we get into the last stages, potentially of the Champions League, and maybe even the FA Cup, Carabao Cup. Who knows how far we're going to get. You're playing games literally 3 days within each other. In some cases, a day. So that's when we are going to be really, really tested. So now we can just enjoy our football, play without any pressure whatsoever as we travel to the King Power Stadium to take on Leicester. And the first chance was really close. Brahimi cutting in on the right foot. We've seen it before. We'll keep seeing this. It is a definite danger when he gets it on that right and looks to curl it in the top of the back of the net. Then, 15 minutes gone, Foden towards Vinicius Jr. This was a really, really unfortunate move. Like, honestly, Rabiot, I feel like he should finish this. You're going to see it. It's great defending. You have to give credit where it's due. Leicester, they defended brilliantly here to stop this going in, but I feel like Rabiot, look at the time he's got, should be doing better than that. Test the goalkeeper. I understand completely, like I said, it was good defending. But yeah, just got to get it in that corner. As the corner was then whipped in. Mario Balotelli on it, but didn't get anything on it. It was literally whisked past his face. And if he'd have got something on it, would have been as leading the game. We kept the pressure on, though, Vinicius Jr.'s delivery. And I was just praying for this to go in. I haven't scored an overhead kick yet. I keep getting so close to doing it. And I've seen so many good overhead kick goals on YouTube. And I'm not yet myself to make one happen. Again, that one coming back off the crossbar. Wasn't all plain sailing, though. Frankie Brown had something to do in our goal there. You can see, stretching to stop that cross from reaching its intended target. And this was really tough, actually, because not only did we have the top scorer in the division currently, of course, in Mario Balotelli, they had the second top scorer. Jamie Vardy is the second top scorer of the Premier League currently. So it was difficult to keep him contained with. But like I mentioned, when you have Brahimi, he's going to look to cut it on that right foot. And if he does, you know what's coming. That's the curling effort, looking for that top corner, and this is world class. Have another look at this in this replay when it pops up right now, guys. I just want to show you it in this detail. The touch, another one to get it out of his feet, and then the curl right in the top corner is exquisite. Considering we were 0-0 at this point, it's not like we're 3-4-0 up where we can try things like this and just, say, well, if it goes in, it's a great goal. If it doesn't, fair enough, we're still winning the game 4-0. This is 0-0. We're needing a goal. So for him to step up and do that is just world class. Solid, solid, solid striking from Yacine Brahimi. He got involved for a cross here towards Pascal Gross, who should have made it 2-0. And unfortunately, he didn't. Now, I have problems with this. I don't know why. I don't know why it did that so powerfully. Just go your accuracy. Why are you trying to put like 5 million bars of power on it? Just get the accuracy there first, and you never know what's going to happen. We should have been 2-0 and cruising. In fact, we should have been more than this in this game. Mario, 9 goals already in the Premier League this season. Should have made it 10. Should have been in double figures. That I don't actually know how on earth he finished it so badly. Didn't matter in the end because we did get the 1-0 victory away from the King Power Stadium. So another win. We're still unbeaten. It's a 100% start to today's episode. Again, very similarly to that against Newcastle. We kept them to 1 shot, and that was really only they had. But that's not down to the fact that, it's easy or whatever. That's because I'm starting to get to grips with how the AI attack. Now, don't get me wrong. As I said to you, there are games on Ultimate, and you will see it coming up later on in today's episode, where you just don't get near them. They put together a passing move, and it's just like, well, you ain't going to tackle them pretty much. You'll see that to come. As we get an offer here for Ezekiel Charlotto. Go ahead and accept it. We also get an offer for Ben White as well, accept both of these. I can confirm Charlotto leaves, but Ben stays, and that's because he doesn't negotiate terms with with the club that came in for him. The amount of time that that's happening is absolutely ridiculous. And I have seen as well now that if I want to loan somebody out, if I accept the loan deal, then go ahead and transfer list them, that will make them actually go out on loan. So thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. Nice to know. It means that in future, if I ever want to loan anybody out, that's all I've got to do. Happy days. In fact, there is actually one player who goes out on loan during today's episode as well. So you'll see that to come later on. Now, third game against AEK Athens. A victory here would see us get out of our group in the Champions League. A draw would require of the results elsewhere going our way. But I've got to say this. Very much similarly to the last time we played against them, they were tough. They gave me a very difficult game, AEK Athens. They only just lost to us 2-1 in the previous game. If you've missed that, check out last episode. It was in that game there. But again, we were playing them away from home. And I don't know what it was, right? We did everything we could in the first half to try and get in front. We didn't really find our feet. We didn't find our attacking intent. Second half began. It is a little bit of a weaker side that we named here, but Pascal Gross found up. He fired it into the back of the net to make it 1-0. At this point, the way we were playing previously, against Newcastle, against Leicester, I was like 100% confident that this was going to be a win here. We'd see ourselves out of the group, and we'd be able to get ourselves through, right? Now, my issue here is I don't actually know what happened, but as soon as this goal went in, the entire dynamic of the game just shifted. I couldn't get the players on the ball that I wanted. The passes just weren't going the direction that we wanted them to do. The pace of the ball just didn't have it. And like I said to you, sometimes you just have to hold your hands up and say, I've been beaten by an unbelievable move here. Look at this, right? You count how many passes they played in the time that it took me to actually highlight players and try and get close to them. Look at the one-touch passing, and this is from AEK Athens, guys. Like, fair enough. Frankie Brown should save it, okay? I admit that. Frankie Brown, you should do better. It goes down as his own goal. Made a change here because I was just thinking to myself, I can't believe that move that they've just put together there, that was sensational, right? All things aside, okay? My goalkeeper saving it, yeah, probably should have done. But looking at the way they crafted that move together, I can't even complain because that was just sensational. I took a step back after this and I was like, fair play. You know what? Fair play. Because at this stage, I fully expected us to come here, win the game comfortably, get ourselves through the Champions League group. But AEK Athens are having something to say about it. And they are not quite able to get themselves out of the group at this stage. Even if they win this game, it's still going to be a very, very massive uphill climb. They can only catch second. But even so, that's an incredible move. And if they're doing it against us, what are the likes of some of the better teams later on in the Champions League going to do against us? We were so close to going back in front, though. Phil Foden, you can see, trying his best to get something on the end of that cross for Vinicius Jr. Unable to do it. And as the full-time whistle came, I just had to say a well done to our opponents. Because, yes, their game plan was to look for the draw. Because as soon as they got that goal back, they pretty much went back to defending. But you can see, comparing the dominance that we had in the Premier League against the likes of Newcastle, against the likes of Leicester, keeping them down to one shot, having loads of shots ourselves. When you compare that to this time around, we only had 4 against AEK Athens, and they had 3 and they scored 1. Fair play. They got the draw. We are out of our Champions League group, but we haven't won it yet. So that result does mean we do go through, because Marseille lost to Barcelona. If they'd have drawn, it would have been a similar situation. We'd have had to win that game, but they actually lost. So Barca winning means that they are now second and are closing the gap on us. So like I said, we're out of the group at least in second, but we do want to try and win it as well. So we still have to play against Marseille. We still have to play against Barca. And we'll see how we play in both of those games. So that draw aside, it's been 100% win rate so far, apart from the Champions League group stage game. But still unbeaten across all the games today. As we faced our last opponents today, Spurs, the team that won the Premier League title last season. Of course, this is going to be a massive game here. If we can send a message out, I believe we can go on and win this title. You can see from the offset, we had a chance. Arthur straight in the hands of Lloris. It was a very nervy first half from both teams. I didn't want to commit too many men forward and get caught on the counter. And I didn't really want to, try our hardest to sit back and defend because I didn't trust myself 100% against a team like Spurs to really make that happen. We had a lot of the first half chances. Our dominance was there. We just didn't have the goal to show for it. So going into the break at half-time, the score remained 0-0. And you can see we had 4 shots, none of those on target. But Spurs, very quiet indeed, not having a chance themselves. So again, I had to make something happen. Brought off Phil Foden, brought on Pascal Gross, and it seemed to change the game a little bit. Here, Spurs defended brilliantly, but they didn't defend right until the last set. You can see Brahimi just about keeps that ball in play. Sessegnon delivers it in towards the mixer, and an unmarked Rabiot gets on the end of that cross to make it Brighton 1, Tottenham 0. But you can see, actually, is there a case here that the ball goes out of play before Brahimi heals this back into play? I mean, obviously all of the ball has to leave the field of play, right? And Spurs would have actually got the goal kick as well because it did actually touch Brahimi last. So he had to keep it in play. I'm glad he did. And the delivery from Sessegnon was inch perfect. But here, look at this. Look how close that ball is to going out of play. Full credit to Brahimi, who keeps it alive, finds Sessegnon, and Rabiot puts his 1-0 in front. Even more importantly as well, he was wearing the captain's armband today because there was no Lewis Dunk. He was a little bit unfit for the game. So I actually made a change here. We had Retsos and, of course, Kera starting. In the 90th minute, to run the clock down, we brought on Lewis Dunk. We brought on Davy Proper, running the clock down, trying to see the game out. And I was just thinking to myself, please do not get a last-minute goal. Because quite simply, you don't deserve it. Well, Lewis Dunk had full faith in Frankie Brown as he headed the ball back to him for him to catch, wasting time. He launched the ball upfield and we beaten Spurs by 1-0 here at the Amex, and that's a massive win. They were the team who won the Premier League. They're the champions. They got to defend their title. They're in the top 4 at this stage. So I'd have taken a point gladly here. But in fact, we've got more than that. We've got ourselves a 1-0 win. So in the Premier League today alone, we have a 100% win rate. It's just that 1-1 draw against AEK Athens in the Champions League, which has kind of frustrated us at that stage. Spurs, largely not good enough, 0 shots. This is what I mean. Ultimate difficulty, I found that it's really hit or miss. It's either they play really well and they create moves like the AEK Athens did, or they just don't do anything. So I'm going to say this right now. If it gets to a later stages and we're still in the same situation, I might have to think about applying some sliders to this ultimate difficulty. Felt like at the start of the series, it was really difficult. It is still difficult when they're playing well, but I think at the same time, I've kind of got to grips now with how the AI plays. So I might have to think about some sliders or something down the line. Nevertheless, though, 12 games unbeaten in the Premier League. Obviously, 4 games unbeaten in the Champions League. You can see we are out of our group there. Like I said, only Marseille and Barca still to play. We'll see how we play in both those games, though, next time out in the next episode. That's it for this one, though. If you did enjoy today's episode, a like would be greatly appreciated. As always, thank you so much for all of your support on the channel. We're back again tomorrow from 4 p.m. with another video, probably the My Player Career Mode for you all to enjoy. And if you are not already subscribed and like what you see, the button is down below. Alongside that is a notification bell, so you can click that and follow me on the channel as well to never miss an upload. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. And I'll catch you all again very, very soon. Adios!